Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Untold. For today's episode, we're going to revisit our linguistic type of episode, right? We have international students who are here from Poland.
Yes, Gabriela and Krzysztof. And honestly, I'm amazed that we have so many international students in Kuwait here to learn and study Arabic, which I think is quite amazing.
Yeah, and you know, for talking to so many of them, even off camera, I think one of the biggest, thank you could go for Dr. Khalid. So I've personally never met him, but all the students we've had nothing but good words to say about him. So this is major thank you to Dr. Khalid, to Kuwait University for having these scholarships, for bringing these students, teaching them Arabic in Kuwait.
Me too, I agree. And I think it's a wonderful thing that we're doing here. And I'm so glad that these students picked Kuwait of all places to study this language. And I'm curious to see what their experience is like here.
Very well said, Lujane. With that in mind, we're going to take a break. We'll come right back with them. And thank you for joining us on The Untold. Of course, it is an international kind of an exchange episode. We have Krzysztof and Gabriela with us, two international students who are studying Arabic. They are from Poland. So first, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having us. We're very glad to be here.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
We're happy to have you. And Abdullah said, I think, the more original way of your name, but could you explain the pronunciation to us?
Okay, so there are two versions of my name, let's say. The one I use most commonly when traveling abroad is Krzysztof, because it's just easier, contains like very few difficult sounds. Also, the original Polish version is Krzysztof, but it's maybe somewhat difficult for foreigners. So whenever traveling abroad, I try to use the more internationalized version as to avoid any difficulties.
I mean, that's very understandable. Yes. I think a lot of people, especially from the Arab world, feel that when they go abroad as well, trying to get people to say their names. So yes. I think we understand. Yeah. And speaking of that, what led you to choose to study Arabic?
Okay, so I think this is like the first question everyone asks me whenever I tell them I study Arabic. For me, it was a combination of like general interest in the Middle East, in the Arab world, combined with my interest in linguistics in general. So at the end of high school, I kind of decided that I want to pursue another language. I want to experience a language that is different from the European languages, that uses a different alphabet, that's like completely different and completely far away from the Europe, from what I know. And my choice was Arabic because like it opens the doors to a very rich history, very rich culture, and yes, ever since that I just fell in love with it, and
That was beautifully said, and it does make sense. Yeah. What about you, Gabriela?
So for me, there is no like big story behind it. It was more of the random choice. I've obviously loved languages for my whole life. I also went to like linguistic junior high school, so this love for languages was there. But when I enrolled into the university, I just had to choose. So I didn't have to choose. I could choose some language course, like additional language course. So honestly, randomly, I decided to take Arabic course on Saturdays in the evening. So it was random. It was a bit unexpected, to be fair, but I fell in love with Arabic. So later I decided to continue, and the easiest way is to just study it. We don't have many like language courses in Poland, like the Arabic language courses in Poland. So yeah, it is much easier to just take studies.
Yes.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and then I think the next logical question is that, how did you end up choosing Kuwait specifically as the place of studies?
Yes, so for me, it was kind of a simple choice. I always knew I wanted to go abroad and actually like complete like a full year scholarship somewhere in the Arab world. Also, I had like a bit of a previous experience with scholarships, specifically in the Arab Gulf. I've been both to the UAE and to Saudi Arabia. And I fell in love with the general Gulf society, like the Khalij region and everything. And from that moment, I knew I want to do like a full year course, but specifically in the Gulf. So also, I heard so many good stories about Kuwait. This is like supposedly the best program, which I, from my limited experience here, I can like concur. My professors recommended it to me, my friends recommended it to me who like, not from Poland, but like from other countries who have been to the course. So when the opportunity presented itself, I just took it, and yeah, I'm very happy with it.
Well, that's really cool. And what about you, Gabriela?
Yeah, so from the very beginning of our studies, our professors were telling us that we have to go somewhere abroad to do the scholarship program because it's just necessary to speak fluently, So we have some options to choose from. We have Egypt. I've been also to Saudi Arabia for the short-term program. And yeah, Kuwait is very recommended at our university, and it has a long tradition. It is considered one of the best, and also our professors been here like 30 years ago. So it's just like natural thing for us to come here and continue this tradition. And yeah, the program is indeed very good.
Well, I love hearing that. It's wonderful to hear that in Kuwait we have this reputation where people can come study from abroad and learn our language. And it does make sense what you say, to immerse yourself in the language is the best way to learn. Were your parents or family or friends surprised when you made this choice though?
Not very much. Like my parents and friends even more are just used to me traveling a lot on my own and to different places. And if it comes to like a long-term program, no, because they also know what I'm studying, so they do realize that it's quite necessary. And when I told them, they weren't surprised. Obviously, maybe a bit anxious about me going abroad for such a long time, but definitely it wasn't surprising.
Yeah, for me it was similar to Gabriela's experience, although my parents were a little bit shocked about the whole duration of the
Understandable.
It's a basically whole year. But everyone was super supportive, my friends, my family, everyone's just encouraging me, like, this is the right step, you have to do it, like, keep going, this is the good way to go. And yeah, I'm very happy for the support.
Well, we're happy that you're happy.
Yeah.
And Krzysztof, you said that you had experience here in the Gulf states. So this question, might seem normal to you, but I do want to ask you and take both of your opinions on it, because there's a certain clash of, cultures between Poland and Kuwait. So what are the biggest things that you've noticed, right, when it comes to lifestyle, habits, environment? I mean, environment's going to be the hot weather, but, could you share with us?
Yes, the hot weather is the big one. It's way hotter than in Poland. And one thing I miss is the trees. I feel like Poland is so green. I have like a big forest just 10 minutes away from my house. Here you see the trees, but it's like there's so less of them. But when it comes to the society and the culture, there are a couple of things I noticed. First of all, I think the whole culture is way more family oriented. You see those the families are very close together. This is something you don't really see in Poland. You have those big houses, where 3 generations or more live in the same house. I've noticed that in Kuwait. And so those are, I think, the main things, that the society is just more close-knitted together. And I think it's very nice.
Yeah, for me, for example, weather is not an issue at all. Honestly, the weather in Poland is, for me, worse, especially during the winter. So I'm very glad to be here, especially during this time. Because hot weather, it's perfect for me. I can manage even 40 degrees, and here in Kuwait, it's not very humid. Maybe now it's changing a bit, entering winter, but for the most part, it's very dry. So even the hot weather is not an issue at all for me. But a big thing that I noticed are the highways.
Yeah.
Loads of highways, the huge ones. And the bridge, the huge bridge.
The Java bridge.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have that many highways. We just have a few, and also the car culture in general. Yes, cars everywhere, and while we are living far away from the city center, it's sometimes an issue for us to be able to go to Mbarakia or anything more inside of the city. Because we don't have cars, and we can only use the transport from the university or taxis, but that's expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, that's very understandable. And I'm with you on the trees, because when I lived abroad, I loved all the nature as well. Yeah. That's probably the thing I miss the most as well. So I'm very much with you on that, because Kuwait is a desert, so it's a very different climate. But now that it's winter, you're probably going to get to experience the desert side of things more. I don't know if your friends have told you, but people like to go doing these things called kashtas, where you go out in the desert, you camp, you can eat and just have a good time with your friends. So I think that's something you guys should definitely try while you're here.
Oh yeah, we definitely will try if the opportunity comes.
Yeah, already received some invitations. So
well, there you go. So definitely capitalize on that when you're here and see everything the country has to offer. That's one of the best things I think about living abroad, is experiencing all these different things. But other than different things, is there something like a routine or an item or a habit from Poland that you've kept with you in Kuwait?
One thing I try to do every day, that's a big thing for me in Poland. I like to walk. I like to walk everywhere, to the grocery store, to a certain extent, even to my university. I like to just walk. I enjoy the process of walking. I find it somewhat like a form of meditation to a certain degree. We live in a very fast-paced world, everything just moving so fast, and the ability to just take a moment for yourself, just walk someplace, not even in a hurry, just listen to the sound of the nature, the environment. It's just very soothing. Here in Kuwait, when I arrived here in the September, the weather was a bit hotter than it is today.
Yeah.
However, thankfully, we're now entering the winter season, so the weather has gotten like very pleasant, I might say. And so I find myself walking a little bit more. I like to take walks around the campus, which is, by the way, very beautiful. I like the Kuwait University campus, just like trees and flowing water. It's absolutely beautiful. It's a perfect place to walk. And I try to do that every day, like a little piece of Poland still with me.
That's amazing. And I actually love walking too. And winter in Kuwait, I think, is the best time to enjoy walking. Because even though it's winter for us, I think for you guys, you're seeing it more as summer or spring almost.
Yes.
So it's very different. How about you, Gabriela?
Yeah, so walking is very true for me too. But there is one habit that is with me from my very childhood, like since I was like 6 years old, I would say. So every evening before going to sleep, I'm reading. And I'm trying to read here too, even though sometimes we are very tired after coming back to the dormitory in the evening. But I still try to find those at least 20, 30 minutes to just have time for myself and to read something. And the other thing, maybe it's not a habit, but something that is a bit more challenging here than in Poland, is that I do not eat meat. So here, where the diet is very meat-based, with the traditional dishes.
Because it's delicious.
I'm not a fan personally. But yes, I still try to find some other options. And it is sometimes challenging when eating in the cafeteria in our dormitory. But yeah, that's something I'm sticking to and probably will till the end.
I actually want to ask, do you eat meat?
Yeah, I eat meat. It's my favorite thing in the world.
Now in Poland, it's very common to be vegetarian. Every restaurant has vegetarian options. So that's really common. Even people who eat meat normally choose vegetarian options quite often, even though our cuisine is also very meat-based.
No, it's just funny because I think I told you guys before that one of my best friends growing up in Kuwait is half Polish.
Yeah.
And she's actually vegetarian as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's something cultural or not.
If she's from Warsaw, then probably a bit.
I think
like
so.
in Warsaw, it's a big trend for a long time now. So that's why the restaurants are accommodating.
There are some options in Kuwait now. I can try to recommend them to you later, hopefully, or ask her if she has recommendations so you can have more variety. Abdullah is very against this, though. I think he's a big meat eater.
Yeah, I think, we grew up here in Kuwait, like you said, all of our food has meat. I mean, even our breakfast has meat, right?
That's a great
It's
thing.
been ingrained within us for so many, years. But you did mention before that you've been to Mbarkiya. So you've already crossed a lot of the tourism places of Kuwait that have high value, right?
Yeah.
So we do want to thank you for going to Mbarkiya and seeing what we have there.
Yes, that's one of the most interesting places we've seen in Kuwait, actually. Like I like those traditional cultural places, definitely more than the modern architecture, even though I do enjoy avenues, and it's quite impressive how you can pretend that you're outside while being inside with AC. But yeah, I do enjoy seeing the cultural side of things.
Yeah, Mbarkiya is honestly, it's a slice of something else, right? It's entirely different. It's like you're taken to a different time period.
It is actually. It is like going back in time to how things were before. And I want to thank you guys for these contributions. We're going to go on a short break, and then we can talk more about the cultural exchange. Stay tuned for after the break.
And thank you for joining us on a linguistic episode of The Untold. I do want to ask you something because we dove into your experience in Kuwait, before the first part of this segment, but I want to ask you more about your studying of Arabic. Like, talk me through the process of learning this language, because I know for a lot of foreign speakers, Arabic is somewhat of a difficult language. So how was it for you?
So for me, at the very beginning, there were two biggest issues and challenges. The first one was definitely pronunciation, especially with the letters we don't have in Polish, which is quite a few. And the second thing is vocabulary. Like, I've been learning many different languages before, and often the vocabulary was interfering and was common between the languages. And with Arabic, there was nothing like this.
Yeah.
So I had to learn like the whole system of the language and that was the moment when vocabulary was easier to learn too. But at the very beginning, it was, I think, the biggest challenge, like learning those big portions of vocabulary.
So for me, I think the biggest challenge, that was actually something I didn't know when I was starting to study Arabic, because I just basically entered without any previous knowledge. Like, I think after some months, I learned that Arabic is not just one language, but it's actually like the Fusha variant and lots of dialects. And ever since then, my single biggest issue with Arabic, like when it comes to learning, the biggest obstacle are those dialects, because there's just so many of them. And it's hard to just focus on one, you know, especially like if you're learning Arabic, trying to communicate with people, you find yourself in many different places. It has to it's hard to pinpoint the exact dialect you should be learning. Right now, obviously, it's Kuwaiti, because like, yeah, it just makes sense. But, you know, just the sheer number of the dialects is a big obstacle, and that, you know, they share some vocabulary, but also some is different. So yeah.
But also, I think that it's impossible to like master Arabic 100% because of those dialects.
Yes.
There's also there's always something to learn more, some dialects that you do not know, and some challenges on your way.
Yeah, and also you did mention how vocabulary is hard, and I can only imagine, because we have so many words to talk about one thing, right?
Yes.
Yes, that is an issue, but also I think the nice part actually is how you have patterns for the vocabulary. So you don't have to learn stupidly by heart, but you can like create the vocabulary with some other words that you know, and that's something I really love about Arabic.
Yeah. And also, to go back to your point, Krzysztof, is that I think, and this is not just me, you know, being Kuwaiti, advocate for Kuwait, you've chosen a great place to study, because people have said that the Gulf, you know, accent of Arabic is the closest one to the Fusha.
Yes.
Because a lot of the other dialects have kind of, you know, gone towards some extremes. So you picked the right place.
Yes, and it makes sense. Like, the Gulf is the birthplace of Arabic. This is where the Arabic language originated, and so it just makes sense that, you know, the dialects are the closest one to the written form.
No, it does make sense. And I think that's something a lot of people don't realize, is that it's not just one language. It has all these different dialects in every region. And even within one country, you can speak kind of different dialects depending on the families or whatever is going on. But something else I want to ask you guys is there any phrase or custom or culture that you've really grown to love while here?
I think my absolute favorite thing about Kuwait is that people still wear their cultural clothes. The dishdasha, the ritra, everything is just so nice, especially in this like global age. Everything is just so interconnected. The culture is slowly becoming like one global culture, right? Everyone.
You got to get yourself one. I mean, you can't be here.
I have it. I like to wear it.
And he's coming to class in one.
Sometimes, not every day. It's actually very comfortable. Yeah.
It is.
It makes sense, but it's the best like piece of clothing for this climate. The dishdasha is just perfect for the Kuwaiti climate. But I just very much appreciate it, because it just adds a whole other level of like magical almost charm to just being here, seeing all those people just embracing their culture and cultivating it in this very global age. This is something beautiful.
I guess that's something I never thought about, how it looks magical to outsiders. I think we grew up with it, so it's just very normal here, and you don't think too much about it. But it is actually a very practical clothing. Like how you said, it deals with the hot weather very well, and it's very great for men because you can use it in all different things, for work, for formal, for relaxation, for just seeing your friends. It's a multi-functional piece of clothing. So I'm glad that you have one.
Yes.
Hopefully next time we'll see you wear one as well. How about you, Gabriela?
Yes, I have to agree on this one. I also very enjoy looking at like the whole society, maybe not the whole society, but so many people embracing their culture. And that's something that is not popular in Europe at all. Like, I would assume that some Polish people may not know what our traditional clothing looks like, because nobody wears it anymore. Like, okay, maybe for some events or when some traditional orchestras are playing, then maybe, but like on the streets you would never see anybody wearing traditional clothing. So that's something very different, and I think that that's a good thing, and I very, very enjoy that.
I mean, that's so funny because I actually know what your cultural outfit is, because other than the friend I told you about, when I was in the first grade, my best friend was a girl called Kasia, who was Polish. She was only there for like a year. And we had to come to school in national dress. and she wore the Polish national dress. And I loved it because of like the flowers and stuff like that, embroidered, and her hairstyle.
Actually, I'm pretty sure that we don't really have one traditional clothing.
Is it like mixed?
Every region has its own.
Okay, amazing.
Yes, so I also would say that there's no like one unified version of traditional clothing, which is also a bit different to what you have here.
Have you considered maybe getting like an abaya or darra, which is like the women's version of traditional dress?
I have an abaya.
Oh,
Like
amazing.
I like wearing black, as you can tell probably. But yes, I do have one. And I was considering coming in one. But yeah, then it's a bit too long, so I cannot wear it with shoes like this.
Understandable.
Yeah, honestly, I think we've had a few of your classmates here who are from Japan, and they both came here with a dishdash. Well, you know, previous guests in the program have done that, and we always feel so happy, you know. So
I didn't know about that. So.
yeah, they came with the dishdashes and everything.
I just picked the safe option.
And that's always good to have it, right? The safe option. And also the thing about dishdasha, you said it's comfortability, but it also represents, you know, who you are. Because even dishdasha to outsiders, it may seem the same from all of us Gulf countries, but each one of us has different, you know, style of dishdasha. You can always tell by the neck.
Yes.
So it's a way to, you know, unify us, but also to represent us individually.
Kuwait is the special thing, the pen in the pocket.
Nice.
Yeah, we always like to have some pens in our pockets. Yeah. I do want to ask you about something, is because in Kuwait especially, we don't encounter a lot of people from Poland. And I imagine it's the same for your classmates. So how do people usually react? Like, what do they ask you, you know, first thing hand?
So on the streets, honestly, I don't think I've ever had person who approached me and probably they noticed that I'm not from here, but maybe they are shy to approach. Also, probably because I'm a woman, so that there is obviously this barrier. But in class, you know, we are in a very international community right now, so we're quite often like exchanging our cultural things from different countries. But my closest friends are actually from like the neighboring countries, from Czech Republic, also from Bulgaria, which is also a Slavic country. So those differences aren't that big, but we're often comparing the languages. We can also like speak in our own languages and understand each other without major issues, especially with my friends from Czech Republic.
It's cool. I didn't know they were so similar.
Yes, with Czech, Polish language is very, very similar. The only closer language is actually Slovak.
What about your experience?
Oh, honestly, I feel like most people just automatically assume that I'm like British or something, just because of the skin color. One funny thing I found is that whenever I tell people I'm from Poland, they very often confuse it for the Netherlands, because, you know,
oh really?
Oh yeah,
Hollanda, you know.
Okay.
It's just like,
that makes sense.
it's just like, you know, difference by one letter. But honestly, I feel like, you know, everyone's just always so positive about me coming here. It's just like, everyone's so very happy. Just I arrived to the country, I'm like enjoying my time here. I'm studying Arabic here. It's always a very positive response. And I'm honestly just very glad to, you know, feel so welcomed here.
I mean, we're always welcoming, you know, foreigners who are here, especially ones who are trying to learn our language and basically spread awareness to it. So you're basically here representing Poland. So if we switch the seats, right, we were to come to Poland, like, where would we go? How would you advertise it? How would you, you know, market all of it for us?
So I would say the first thing, the diverse nature, which we have. We have mountains, sea, lakes, forests, like everything that you don't have. But yeah, I think that's the main thing Kuwaitis are doing while coming to Poland, like exploring the nature. But I would definitely take you on more like historical trip around Warsaw, which has like very interesting history, especially the more recent one during Second World War. We have many museums about that, but also I would definitely show you the architecture, the street architecture we have in Warsaw, that is the relic of the communism that we've experienced.
For me, I am, as I mentioned previously, I think I'm from Krakow. This is like a big city in the south. I think it's like a #1 tourist destination, especially for people in the Gulf.
I think
always
so, yeah.
in the summer.
I always hear about people going there.
Yes. So I would three main places. First of all, there's the Wieliczka salt mine. It's a city very close to Krakow and has the most beautiful salt mine in the world. It's actually like not operational right now. It's just a museum. We have in that salt mine, there's like a deepest chapel in the world. It's like a chapel entirely underground, over 100 meters underground, entirely carved out in a salting cavern. Everything is just carved out of salt.
That's crazy.
It's a very beautiful place. Also, there's the royal castle of Wawel, overlooking the beautiful river. And at the same time, very close to the castle, there's the historical city with like very beautiful cobbled streets, horse carriages driving. It's a magical place. I really recommend it.
I mean, those places do sound really beautiful. And I love that there's all this complex, rich history as well as the beautiful nature. I would love to experience both of them, I'm sure.
Oh,
Do you guys ever
you're
feel...
always welcome.
Thank you. Do you guys ever feel homesick?
Oh yeah, obviously. Maybe for now it's not that prominent because we are staying here for only 2 months at this point. But yeah, we do miss our families, speaking Polish, because in the dormitory I speak mainly English and Arabic. So the only opportunity to speak Polish is when I'm calling my family, my friends, or talking to Krzysztof at the university. But I would say what I do to prevent homesickness is to just enjoy the moment and concentrate on what we are doing here, to concentrate on my studies, and just to be focused on something else. Because also we are coming home for Christmas, which isn't that far away, like 2 months, or even less, a month. So it's not that bad.
Yeah, no, that's not that bad if you have something to look forward to in the short term. Do you feel the same way?
Well, I don't really feel that much homesick. I feel like I very quickly adapt to a new situation and new environments. Although, you know, every once and again, I get like a wave of nostalgia taking me back to Poland. In those moments, I just like to maybe listen to some Polish songs, maybe watch a Polish movie, like something to experience the culture. And then I can, you know, once the craving has been satisfied, I can go back to like being an international student and experiencing the, you know, host culture.
And also the good thing about it is that Poland is not relatively far away. You know, the trip is not, you know, a lot of work.
Yeah.
Oh, actually it is. Like, it's not that far away, but the flight connections aren't the best.
Yeah.
We don't have a direct flight right now. There is one during the summer, but we have to change. So to book a ticket, which isn't unreasonably expensive, is a bit of the challenge, though.
Well, you know, all good things are worth the effort.
Yeah, obviously they are.
With that being said, we do want to thank you for sitting with us on the Untold. Unfortunately, we have run out of time.
Okay.
So again, many thank you for both of you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having us. It was a great pleasure.
Thank you for having us.
It was a pleasure to have you, and thank you for this exchange of culture, and keep up your studies in Arabic. I really think you guys are going to be experts by the time you're done. So thank you again. And with that, we're going to go on a short break.
Welcome back from that break. Unfortunately, it's the end of the conversation segment, but honestly, I've enjoyed this one so much.
Me too. I love talking to them and hearing about their experiences of why they chose the language. It's lovely to hear so many people have a passion for the Arabic language when they come from so many different places.
Yeah, and honestly, you know, every time I meet someone who, you know, picked or chose the Arabic language as a study profession, I'm always admired, right? I always feel a lot of, you know, proudness for them. I, you know, feel a lot of happiness for it, because Arabic is a very difficult language, and it's also not spoken in a lot of regions of the world other than the Arab region. So it's a very, you know, tailor-made kind of language. So for you to pick that one, it shows, you know, you have dedication, you have passion, you have endless amount of love for knowledge.
I mean, even for native speakers, our grammar is considered a very difficult thing to learn. So it's amazing to see that these students from abroad have come, especially from Poland, and we got to hear about the differences in our culture and theirs. And I'm curious, I want to visit one day and see all the nature they were talking about.
Yeah, they were speaking about the nature, they were speaking about the mountains, the lakes, and everything, even off camera, right? So we definitely would want to take that ticket and, you know, go and see Poland, the finest that it has to offer.
And I do love that they appreciated how people still wear national dress here in Kuwait, like the dish dasha. It's not something that had occurred to me that was uncommon, because we're so used to seeing it here every day.
We're so used to seeing it, right? It's comfortable to be in it. You know, it's our national heritage, I would say. It's the thing that unites us all visually. With that being said, it's the end of the episode. But until the next one, goodbye for now.
Goodbye, and I hope you enjoyed the episode.